Hey everybody, it's Matt from Nerd Knights Painting coming at you with the Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion series. We're going to be taking the first model in the series, Hatchet, and we're going to be turning it into, from this ugly gray piece of crap to this, beautiful miniature that just looks fabulous on a table. Oh god, just look how good it is. We're going to be doing some unorthodox, out of order painting. But as long as you follow around what I'm doing, and we're going to be trying something new here with some picture in, picture out of the paints we're going to be doing. And we're going to be following the box art, basically, that's provided from in the game. And just follow what I'm doing, and we should be good. So grab a drink, put on some music, or a good book, and let's get this painted. As always, first things first, make sure you're scraping off those crappy old disgusting mold lines. There wasn't too many on this miniature, but make sure you're just getting the ones that are up on the shoulder, on the hat, so they won't stick out. I'm going to be priming it all in black. I'm using my airbrush because I feel like it looks better, but if you want to save time, go ahead and grab some black spray paint, flat black, and go ahead and spray that down. Once you got it all spray painted in black, we're going to be doing a base coat. Now this is technically optional, but as you can see in the bottom left hand corner, we're going to be using a little Mournfang Brown that I put into the airbrush, and we're just going to be spraying it as basically an undercoat over the entire model. And the reason for this is the whole model is basically a brown leather, so that's why. We're going to start painting the leather jacket with XV88. It's going to be a one solid coat. You might need two coats depending, but I only needed one for this because it's a brown undercoat, so it doesn't really show through that much. But head it all over with the XV88, including the boots, which I didn't do, and I'm going to review that a couple times during this. Continue hitting with the back. Make sure you get that top part below the neckline. You're hitting that front portion, and of course you got to do the hat, which I don't even know if I did in this video. Hit those sides of the coat, and just make sure you get everything, look it over, and once it dries, if you need any touch-ups, go ahead and hit a touch-up, and you should be pretty good. And as you can see with the model finish, just make sure if you pause this and look to make sure you got everything. A little out of order, but we're going to be using Agrax Earthshade. I know I just butchered that. Hit the hat, all the XV88 portion, and make sure you did the boots. I know I mentioned that once already, but do the boots. I missed it on the original go around, and you'll see later in this video they just magically appear like Lance Burton. Again, on the backside, Agrax Earthshade, that's better. And don't be afraid to put a nice liberal coat on. We want it to kind of sink into the recesses, and you're going to see what we're going to do here in a second, and it's going to be a very easy thing for us to do. Alright, make sure you let that dry, and as you can see it's super shiny, so give it about 10-15 minutes, read a book or something. Once we are completely dry, we're going to go back with a dry brush of XV88, as you can see in the bottom left hand corner, and we're just going to dry brush that entire damn thing, including the boots, which are not in this video right now, but make sure you get those boots and hit that whole thing. Don't be scared to go over it a couple times, and you're going to see those raised areas are going to get a nice touch up of XV88 while the recesses are going to stay dark. I cannot talk right now. And just go over it and make sure you get a good, nice looking model like this, as you can see right here. Alright, you're going to be dry brushing a second coat, but it's going to be 2 parts of XV88 and 1 part Ushabti Bone. Go ahead and mix that up and start dry brushing that all over the model, specifically towards the parts that are going to be getting more light. So your tops of the shoulders, you're going to be doing the bottom portions of the leg and feet, and just hit that whole area on top of the hat as well. And we're going to be doing a couple coats of this, and then we're going to go down to a 1:1 and then a 1:2 ratio. You'll see here in a second. Same thing on this, just do a 1 part XV88 and 1 part Ushabti Bone. The last dry brush is going to be 1 part XV88 and 2 parts of Ushabti Bone. Just be very careful while doing this. It's going to be pretty bright, so just hit it real lightly. Make sure all that paint is off your brush, and you're just doing it on the top portion of the hat, on the shoulders, the bottom portions of the front, and on the boots. For one of the last portions on the actual leather, we're going to be taking 1 part XV88 and 1 part Ushabti Bone mixed with several drops of Lamia medium to make a very translucent, basically kind of like a wash a little bit. We're just going to be painting some of the raised areas, as you can see in this while I'm doing this, to make it pop out just a little bit more. This step's really optional. You don't have to do it, as the dry brush has really brought a lot of life to that coat already, and we're going to dull it down anyway here in the next step. But if you want to, get a little bit on the raised areas, don't go overboard, and just hit them up a little bit. If you want to do 1 to 2 coats max, go ahead and do that, as you can see as I'm doing right here. For the last step on the coat and the hat and the boots, I'm going to be using some Seraphim Sepia. I totally messed that up. And we're just going to be going over that. Don't go too crazy on it, but a nice, even, not too liberal coat on it. And that's going to bring out the orange and everything. It's going to bring it all together. Once it dries, it's going to look fantastic. And turning around, you can see that leather is actually looking like real leather. Looks pretty good. For the quiver, we're going to be using Steel Legion Drab for the whole thing. And just cover that whole thing. We're going to be doing this and the arrows, and we're going to be doing a wash real quick. For the arrows, I picked Doombull Brown. It didn't really match the cover art, but I wanted a little bit of contrast to it. You can use Steel Legion Drab if you would like, because it seems like they're the same color, but I just used Doombull Brown. Covered the quiver and the arrows in Agrax Earthshade. Holy hell. And let it dry real quick. While the quiver and arrows are drying, I'm taking some Rhinox Hide and I am painting the front belt on the miniature to include all of the straps and the handles for the axes. Once you're finished with the Rhinox Hide, go back. This should be dry by now on the quiver. And I am just redoing a reapplication of Steel Legion Drab on the X portion and the top and bottom portion. I'm going to keep the underlying portion of the quiver the original color, and it'll give it like a nice little contrast. Doing 1 part Steel Legion Drab and 1 part Baneblade Brown. And just going over the same thing I just did with the reapplication of the base coat. Taking the original Doombull Brown and just hitting the ball portions of the arrows or bolts or whatever the hell they are. And that's all I'm going to do with that. I'm just going to keep it pretty simple for the top portion of the quiver. For the metal portion of the axes, I'm going to be using Leadbelcher as my base coat. I missed a couple axes when I was doing it the first time, so there's a couple that I didn't even see. Just be careful on it. Pay attention, because I missed them. You guys are much smarter than I am. While you're painting the axe, I'd like to thank our sponsor today. Nobody. Maybe one day. We'll get to it. Just keep cruising around and get the metal portion of the axes, and you'll be good to go here in a second. Make sure you also get the buttons on the cloak or the poncho or whatever the hell this is. Because I almost forgot, but I didn't. Yay me. The belt buckle and the buckle on the top left shoulder, if you're looking at it, is going to be Retributor Armour. Pretty easy. Alright, the skin of the miniature, I'm going with a Mechanicus Standard Gray. I originally painted the Brute from the original Gloomhaven game the same way. That's going to include the legs on top of the boots, the face, the horns, and the hands. Now if you look at the art on the card, it's clearly he has like fur or something. The model has like, has pant legs, like he's got some trousers on. Whatever. I'm keeping it gray. I'm going to try and keep it real with the art on the character card, so F it. Let's get it. And the face, which I think is lacking a lot of detail from the model itself, but he's covered underneath the hat, so we're not going to do a terribly lot to it. I almost forgot, there's a small portion on the side where above his, if you're looking at the right hand, hit that with some XV88, because if you look at the art, it's like a pretty distinct portion that's brighter than the others on that hand, above the hand on the sleeve. Alright, we are going hard in the paint with everything on that belt to include the axes, handles, belt buckle, top buckle on his shoulder. We're going to stick to the Agrax on all of that. Make sure you get it nice and good in the recesses and it hits all those metal portions. For all the gray skin portions, we're going to be using Nulin Oil. For the horns, we're going to be using 2 coats. We want those to be dark because they're dark as hell on that art from the character card. So hit the legs, the hands, the face, and do the horns. Let the horns dry, do another coat. For the strap on the hat, we're just going to hit that with 2 parts Baneblade Brown and a little part, half portion of Steel Legion Drab. So more Baneblade Brown. You can use all of Baneblade Brown, holy hell, if you want, which would not be a problem at all, just to give it a little bit of off tone from the XV88. For the one and only highlight on the gold portion, we're going to be using Liberator Gold, and just go over real quick. Don't dig into the recesses, just hit the top portion of it real quick, real light, real simple, just give it a little bit of pop. Yeah. After that, Agrax Earthshade on the sleeve. Go ahead and just do one highlight of XV88, straight up, easy, make it look real brownish. Yep, poop brown, baby poop brown, delicious. For the highlight on the axes, you don't have to use a specific color, but I really like it. It's fancy. I know it's a base tone, but I think it's fancy. Grey Knight Steel, you can use Ironbreaker or Stormhost Silver. I just wanted to use it. I think it looked pretty good. I'm not going over the entire middle portion of the axes. I'm hitting the top parts, the edges, and on the blade. That's it. Make sure you also hit those buttons. Make them just stand out, but you can use the other silvers if you want. Make it look real nice and pretty. Looks good already. Could already go on the table if we wanted it to. For the skin, we're going to start off with just doing a easy reapplication of Mechanicus Standard Gray on the face, the legs, and the hands. We are not touching the horns, and as you can tell, the horns are still wet because I put in a second application of Nulin Oil on them. So do not touch them. We're going to keep them exactly what they are. We're not going to do anything to them. We're going to keep them dark to try and keep it with the character art on the character sheet. For the second tone on the legs face, we're going to be doing a 1-to-1 ratio of Mechanicus Standard Gray and Administrative Gray. Thinned, of course, with water. And just go over the hands and the legs, specifically that left or the right knee if you're looking at it, and the facial expressions specifically on the bottom. For the last layer on the face and hands and that knee, specifically the right knee, is you're going to be doing some administrative gray, thinned a ton. So make it have it pretty watery or a lot of Lamia medium. Hit those hands the most, and you can see that they're going to get the most light that's going to basically reflect off that act. Don't be afraid to put a couple layers on that right knee, because that would be getting the most sun, as the other portions of the leg would not. And just load that up a little bit, but thin layers, and if you feel like it's gone too far, we can always go back down by putting some more Nulin Oil and working our way back up. For the eyes, we're just going to be using some Evil Sunz Scarlet, just to put 2 blobs on the eyes. You're not really going to see it that much, but I did it for the original Brute. I want to do it for here. For the base, using standard Abaddon Black from Citadel, and just cruise around it. Probably took me 2 coats. That's it. For those easy steps, that's pretty damn fancy, I must say. It looked pretty good on the table after I painted it. Once you put in light like here, it looks even better. I mean, we're not going to win any awards, but shit, who cares? We're here to win games, beat oozes, and fight vermlings. If you're playing the game, you know what I'm talking about. That's all I care about. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I'm trying to expand this channel, and I'm trying to pump out these videos, but with real life and real work, because this does not pay a bill at all. I'm trying to get these out sooner. If you enjoy watching this, if you want to share it on any forum, social media platform, please do. You can also check out my Instagram at nerd.nights. Please share it with people, post it everywhere. You know, pop bottles, say, oh, this guy's awesome, even if he's not, you know what? Help me out. Thank you guys for watching it, and paint on.